Okay, students, as you are aware, we are dealing with the course Guidance and Counseling. And now it is the last week, that is the week number 12. And we are dealing lecture number 2. And the topic of discussion today is evaluation of guidance and counseling, needs, purposes, and characteristics. What we are going to discuss in this topic, first of all, we will try to understand the meaning of the evaluation, then need and purpose of evaluation, and then we will understand characteristics of adequate evaluation and what are the steps of evaluation. We will also throw light on that, and then we will conclude our discussion. Let us start with our uh, discussion with the introduction. Lessinger in 1973 defined evaluation as the process of making a judgment by comparing the expected objectives with the actual progress or achievement. This definition emphasizes a systematic comparison between the intended goals of a program or educational experience and the real world outcomes that were accomplished. His work often focused on concepts of accountability in the education system, and most importantly, if we are dealing with guidance and counseling, advocating for clear, measurable objective to demonstrate effectiveness to the public. There are two, whenever we start any program, we start the program on the basis of certain objectives which we planned in the beginning of that program. That is basically expected objectives of that program. Now, after successful completion of the program, now we are trying to evaluate to what extent we are able to evaluate the objectives of the program. That is basically the evaluation process which is defined by the Lessinger. He also advocated that the evaluation must be clear uh, in its achieving the objective which we have set in advance. A more comprehensive and explicit definition proposed by Weizong in 1972, which defined evaluation as the task of establishing desired objectives. Number one, collecting and organizing information to assess the accomplishment of objective. First of all, we establish desirable objectives and we are collecting and organizing information to assess the accomplished objectives, and judging the adequacy of the accomplishment means evaluation of that, and improving the program, that is at point number 4. So, on the basis of this definition, we can conclude evaluation is a comprehensive process where first of all we establish the objective, desired objective, and in order to evaluate to what extent we have achieved those objectives, we are collecting and organizing the information to accomplish the objectives, and then judging the adequacy of accomplishment and making decisions for its improvement. Once we have implemented the program, now we are collecting the relevant information to what extent the program is fruitful, useful in achieving the objectives of it, and then we are making basically a judgment if there is a need to make any modification or any change in that program, then on the basis of evaluation, we are able to do that. So, it basically facilitates decision making, uh, how much we are able to achieve the objective, what were the gray areas, and what need to be done in future to make it more effective and so that it may be able to achieve the objective. So, evaluation is basically a continuous process and where we make the judgment about the efficiency of the program which we have planned on the basis of certain objectives, and we have implemented by following all the needed steps of it and taking care of all the aspects related to it. And finally, there is a possibility that we may not be achieve the objective of this program to certain extent, or to what extent, that has to be evaluated on the basis of evaluation program, and that is the concept of evaluation. There are needs and purposes of evaluation. What we are doing, as I explained in a nutshell, the objective of the program is basically objective of the evaluation is to ascertain its utility and its effectiveness or its impact. So evaluating guidance program is crucial for ensuring their effectiveness and relevance in supporting students' academic, personal, and career development. These are basically the components which we design our guidance and counseling program. Okay, we take into consideration the educational needs of the students, personal needs of the students, social needs of the students, and vocational or career related needs of the students. So we need to ensure or evaluate the effectiveness of the program in achieving all these components. It helps identify strengths and weaknesses, improve program design and delivery, and make informed decisions about resource allocation. This is the advantage or the need of the evaluation program. Ultimately, evaluation ensures that guidance programs are meeting the needs of the students, contributing to their overall well-being. This is basically the uh, checking of the utility of that program in terms of overall well-being of the students, covering educational, social, and other aspects of the individual life. Needs and purposes can be understood in a better manner by analyzing it in or and thinking it in different aspects. Take first need of evaluation, or the purpose of evaluation is ensuring effectiveness and its impact. Enhancing accountability is the second need and the purpose, and promoting continuous improvement is another target, and addressing evolving needs, it is the basic target and the ultimate goal or objective or the need of evaluation program. So we are keep this thing in your mind that we are in the process of evaluation of a program which we have already implemented. Now we want to ensure effectiveness of the program in evaluating its impact. What we are doing, or what is basically expected from this evaluation? Measuring outcomes. Evaluation helps determine if the guidance program is achieving its intended goals and objectives, such as improved academic performance, increased self-awareness, and better career choices or enhanced mental health. For example, these are the four broader objectives of any program. Then we are evaluating the program in terms of these four broader objectives. To what extent we are able to improve the, or how much the guidance and counseling program uh, were able to improve the academic performance of the students and enhance their self-awareness, and, and provided better opportunities to select their career courses, as well as reducing their stress, anxiety, and frustration level. It is basically the evaluation of the impact of any program. Okay, we are measuring the outcomes of the program on many components, on many variables associated to it. Identifying in strengths and weaknesses, evaluation provides valuable feedback on what aspects of the program are working well and what areas need improvement. It is crucial purpose of evaluation because it allows for self-awareness, informs professional development, and helps determine job fit. For example, an individual can use this evaluation to focus on using their strength effectively and create a plan to improve or compensate for weaknesses. Counselor can use the strength and weaknesses of its implemented program to work on the strength in a more better manner and try to minimize the weaknesses of the program and whatever he or she observe on the basis of evaluation. So strength and evaluation of the strength and weaknesses is also an task of the evaluation program. Guiding program development. We are talking about the effectiveness. By identifying areas for improvement, evaluation helps refine program content, delivery methods, and resource allocation to better meet students' needs. If we know the strengths and the weaknesses, then definitely this knowledge will guide to the counselor and the administrator to improve the program or to develop the program on the basis of its many aspects. For example, content of the program which we have implemented and the method of delivering the program, or the whether we have used a directive counseling approach or non-directive counseling approach, eclectic counseling approach, individual counseling, group guidance, whatever methodology we have adopted, and whatever resource allocation was done, and what is the need to make, and where is the need to make the improvement. Enhancing accountability is another requirement for the evaluation program. Enhancing accountability involves clear expectations, tracking progress, and providing regular feedback to foster responsibility for actions and outcomes. This is related to the accountability, and this is the meaning of the accountability. Now, what aspects are associated to the accountability? Transparency and stakeholder engagement. Evaluation provides transparency to stakeholders, that is, who are the stakeholders? Students, parents, educators, and funding bodies, and family community members are also the stakeholders about the program's effectiveness and impact. So that basically evaluation provides the transparency, okay, what strategies we are implementing and how much we are successful in making that program effective. Justifying resource allocation. Evaluation data can be used to justify continued funding and support for the guidance program by demonstrating its value and contributing to student success. Take for example, if we want to seek certain more resources, then this data will be able to make convinced to the authorities and to seek their support and get the reliable infrastructure or the resources so that program can be implemented in a better manner. Another aspect which is related to the accountability is building trust and confidence. Building trust and confidence involves being honest, consistent, and accountable while also demonstrating care and competency. These are the elements of the trust and confidence. If these are the characteristic features of any program, then this program will be considered more accountable and it will definitely develop a better trust and confidence among its stakeholders. When stakeholders see evidence that the program is effective, it builds trust and confidence in the guidance services offered by the institution. Third aspect related to it, promoting continuous improvement. And under it, we will discuss certain subpoints. Identifying areas for improvement. Evaluation gives the idea where we have to improve our efforts, our methodology, and our strategy. So, evaluation helps identify specific areas where the program can be strengthened, whether it's curriculum, delivery methods, or counselor training. All aspects of the program are very important, and the problem may be associated to any particular aspect, or it may not be related to the entire process of the guidance and counseling. So, we can identify the areas where the improvement is needed. It is basically related to the promoting continuous improvement, which we get the idea through effective evaluation. Enabling evidence-based decision making. Evidence-based, we have the evidence on the basis of reliable and objective evaluation, and we are able to make better decisions, and those decisions are basically considered as the informed decisions. Evaluation provides data to support decisions about program modifications, adjustment, and even its expansion to reach to the larger number of students benefit. Encouraging a culture of learning. Continuous evaluation offers a culture of ongoing learning and improvement within the guidance program. So, we can encourage the culture of learning because evaluation is basically a continuous effort, and we are constantly trying to find out the weaknesses of the program, and it provides an opportunity for making amendment and creating a culture where we are learning from our mistakes, our failures, and our negative aspects of the program, and we are improving continuously through the process of evaluation. Adapting to changing circumstances, there are things which are changing, and they are changing at a very fast pace, and more particularly if we talk about the technological world in which we are living today, the new innovations and the discoveries are changing the belief system and the tools which we are using in our day-to-day life. So, need and the requirement of the program are always changing, and this evaluation basically provides the insight to the counselor and the administrator if there is a need to adapt the program as per the changing needs of the circumstances, then it also provides a benefit, and this benefit is because of the evaluation. Addressing evolving needs, as I told you, incorporating new research and best practices. Researches are going on continuously, and many practices which are considered new and devised by the researchers, they are being implemented. If they are producing the better result, then we can incorporate those methodologies or those systems in our guidance and counseling program. So, evaluation helps identify new research findings and best practices that can be incorporated into the program to enhance its effectiveness. Meeting specific student needs. There are needs which are quite or very specific to the individual, and they need individualized planning or individual approach or consistent approach or insightful approach to resolve those issues. Evaluation also can help identify specific student populations or need that may not be adequately addressed by the current program and inform the development of the targeted interventions. Supporting student development. Guidance programs aims to support student in their academic, personal, and social development, and evaluation helps ensure that this support is being provided effectively. Enhancing counselor development. counselor also develops from the findings of the evaluation. Evaluation can also be used to identify areas where counselors may need additional training or support to improve their skills and effectiveness, because lifelong learning is supposed to be the concept, and we cannot consider as static in our learning. There are certain characteristics of the adequate evaluation. Evaluation should be comprehensive and should cover all aspects of the program with minute details. The comprehensiveness of the program is very important. Evaluation should be a joint responsibility of the principal, teachers, and the counselors. It should be the joint responsibility. Uh, and all should coordinately work with each other to achieve the objectives of the program. The evaluation should be focused on changes in the individual's total behavior. It should not be confined to any particular aspect, rather it should be related to all aspects of the individual personality, because ultimate objective is basically to develop the self of the individual. Evaluation should be objective as far as possible. If there are certain elements associated to subjectivity, then adequate care must be taken to minimize that subjectivity, so that the program evaluation is objective in nature and can be implemented in a better manner. The measuring instruments used for gathering useful and pertinent information should be valid and reliable, because appraisal of the present circumstances and the present techniques is highly important, and whatever technique we are using, they must be reliable, they must be valid, and they must follow certain norms and standards. These things are also very important. The procedure to collect information should be simple and systematically planned to avoid any confusion during collection of information. So we have to use a systematic method in collecting the information, and plan it in such a manner that it can be interpreted by every individual. Personnel involved in evaluation should have an adequate knowledge of various instruments to be used and the procedure to be conducted them too. A counselor and its associated members should have a thorough knowledge of the best pupil appraisal techniques and its implementation. Interpretation of the collected information also plays a very important role, and the people who are experts in interpreting, having the background knowledge and experience in that field, must be utilized for that. More than one type of data gathering techniques can be used, because we cannot rely on any one method in order to know the effectiveness of the program, because subjectivity is also associated with every instrument and in every method, because guidance and counseling is related to the social sciences, and subjectivity are always associated with the in analyzing the personality of the individual. Availability and proper utilization of established criteria are of basic importance of any evaluation program. Definitely we have to set our limits. The evaluation must be based on well thought and carefully draft objectives well before the selection of the tools and the procedures. We need that adequately prepared objectives are there, and we are implementing the evaluation on that aspect. Evaluation is an ongoing process. It is not a never ending process. There are certain steps in evaluation. Now in few of the coming slides, we are going to understand what are these steps. First of all is that identification of the goals to be assessed. What we are going to assess, what we are going to evaluate, what impact we want to see, what changes we are expecting to be in the behavior of the students, we need to understand this aspect. So for any effective evaluation program, the goals should be stated in clear, concise, specific and measurable terms. Means evaluation should be based on the goals and the objectives, and those objectives should be measurable in nature. It is almost impossible for the researcher to evaluate each and every aspects of the guidance program in one study it is convenient to concentrate on any one or two components and establish objective accordingly, because researches or evaluations are done on certain aspects. The whole of the program covering much of its detail is not going to solve the problem of evaluation. That will be very difficult and challenging task. So after first step is identification of the goals to be assessed or evaluated, and at second step we are basically in the process of development of the plan. If we have the clear cut objectives, we have the clear cut plan, clear cut purposes of any program, then we will be more comfortable to develop the plan accordingly, because all the activities and all the measures and all the steps which we are going to take, they must be guided by the set objectives which we have already prepared. Once the objectives of the evaluation have been established, the next step should be to ascertain the appropriate criteria for accomplishing the stipulated objectives. This is the most important stage, as it is directly related to the outcome of the evaluation. Poorly developed program will adversely affect the entire process. However, concrete planning will yield reliable results. So, reliable results are based on the planning, and planning is based on the set objective. The counselor must be the expert in implementation of the evaluation program, or in conducting the researches to evaluate the efficiency of the program or the impact of the program. So this planning is very important, and if the counselor is planning, then he will be able to implement the program in a better manner and will be able to get the reliable and fruitful results. Application of the evaluation program: you have set the objectives, you have prepared a very comprehensive program for that, but if you are failing sure to implement that program or apply that program by following all the standards of it and taking care of many aspects associated to that, then it will not yield the desired results. So utmost care must be given for the application of the evaluation program, means implementation of the evaluation program. Outcome of the program depends upon the way in which it is implemented. Successful application depends upon the number of factors. For example, positive approach, understanding and competency of the personnel involved, and timings of the evaluation. These three aspects are very important. Other aspects are also very important. Whether we positive approach means that we are very positive in implementing the approach, and we are very optimistic in getting the desired results, and we are also having a better understanding of the people who are involved in the process, means they are having the background knowledge and expertise in the evaluation program. There are aspects of the program which can be appropriately evaluated with the help of longitudinal studies rather than specific activities. Some of the aspects of the program will require a longer duration to get the desired results, and that must be taken into consideration by the researcher or evaluator or the counselors who are engaged in that process. And the fourth one is utilization of the findings. The very basic purpose of the evaluation is to analyze the strength and weaknesses of the program. The findings of the evaluative research should be utilized for future program improvement. What is the objective of the program? Utilizations of the findings. So after setting the objectives and making a comprehensive program, we have implemented the program. Then after implementation, we can make sure that the findings which we have gained through that, the strength and the weaknesses which we have got by this program, they must be utilized for the betterment of the program. This evaluation or this research should not be for the sake of the research or for the sake of the evaluation. Rather, it must serve certain purpose. And the purpose is that to improve the program or to use the findings for strengthening the program. Noting and reporting program outcomes. This task is performed primarily by the counselors and administrators who disseminate the findings of the program evaluation to the general public. It is essential that the beneficial or both, it is essential and beneficial for both students and counselors. Students are able to make informed decisions about the utility and worth of the program. If the findings of the program are noted and they are communicated to the student, to the administrator, to the parents, then it will solve many of the problems of the students. However, counselor utilize this information as feedback in order to improve their skills and services. So these are basically the different steps of the evaluation. Let us conclude our discussion here. Evaluating a guidance and counseling program is a systematic process of assessing its effectiveness, efficiency, and impact by gathering and analyzing data on student outcomes, service delivery, and stakeholder perceptions. The purpose is to determine if the program is meeting its goals, identify areas for improvement, and make informed decisions about its future, which can involve ongoing feedback, that is called the formative, or end of the program, that is the assessment or summative evaluation. These are basically the types of the evaluation. In a nutshell, we can say that evaluation is the need of the hour. If we are implementing any program, then this program is implemented to achieve certain objectives, and it is also essential that we are using the evaluation techniques to find out the set objectives or its achievement. If there are certain weaknesses of the program, then we will be able to make amendment in that and enhance its efficiency for the benefit of the student. So students, with this we have completed our discussion. Thanks for your patience listening, and God bless you.